Hi guys, welcome to Capital Trends. It's your host King Wanyama. Yeah, once again, we are right on this same issue that we were discussing yesterday of Honorable Moses Wetangula reading a court order that barred the Azimio from replacing Sabina Chege as the minority chief whip. Yeah, so now we have been going through the things as unraveled at Capital Trends, and by the way, we've unraveled a certain storyline that we think should be interesting to you as well. Because now look at this: in the August 8th election, yeah, so Moses Wetangula was elected the Senator Bungoma County. Now, because he was aligned to Kenya Kwanza, he was meant to be the Speaker of the National Assembly, being the Speaker. But now look at this. In September 14th, 14th September 2014, Honorable Moses Wetangula on the floor of the Senate presented heavy notes as to why the court and other bodies cannot restrict the parliament from executing its mandate. Now, this was through an array of issues that were happening, and he gave further explanations as to how the executive and the judiciary draws their power from the laws that have been passed or enacted by the parliament. Okay, and so there was a heavy argument, and Honorable Moses Wetangula made actual sense. Okay, in the same case, in the 12th parliament, Honorable Moses Wetangula was as well the minority chief whip of the NASA brigade by then. Now, when the NASA had presented their request to de-whip him from being the chief whip, now Honorable Moses Wetangula tried to resist. But what happened, ladies and gentlemen, the NASA brigade only notified the speaker, who was by then the current governor of Bungoma County, Kenneth Lusaka, right? I mean, it was quite straightforward that they will just notify the speaker of why they would like to remove Moses Wetangula as their chief whip of the minority side. Okay, so when Moses Wetangula tried to object, Kenneth Lusaka, the then speaker, only requested for the signed minutes from NASA, and he just made an announcement to the House. Okay, but before the change was effected, what happened? Honorable Moses Wetangula announced on the floor of the House, and he said, that the divorce was going to be messy. It was going to be with casualties, okay? And by the way, let's look at what he said.
I have the following to say. Number one, in terms of this Senate, there is no party called Orange Democratic Movement. This House only has NASA, Coalition, Jubilee, KANU, Chama Mashinani, and one independent member. Those are the entities in this House. Number two, Mr. Speaker, the communication that elected yours truly and Mutula Kilonzo Jr., Senator from Makueni, and Petronila Were, nominated Senator of ANC, and Senator James Orengo of ODM, came from the PG of NASA. And a PG of NASA is not a PG of ODM, and a PG of ODM is not a PG of NASA. Mr. Speaker, NASA is a coalition. Nobody was invited to join NASA. We formed NASA. And I want to tell my colleagues, because, Mr. Speaker, I have had this communication from the chair after being informed an hour before the start of the House that a mischief has been going on behind my back. And I want to say this, Mr. Speaker, if anybody wants a divorce, it will be messy, it will be noisy, and it will not be easy. Because, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell my colleagues in ODM, for avoidance of any confusion, that for the last two presidential elections, we have supported a candidate fronted by ODM. And that is the reason why there are more in both houses than their partner parties. If Kalonzo Musyoka was the presidential candidate, probably Wiper Democratic Movement Party would be having the majority because of the advantages that goes with being a candidate. The same would have happened if Ford Kenya had provided a candidate. The same would have happened if ANC provided a candidate. So I want to tell my colleagues, Mr. Speaker, that let them try to go to NASA, bring the constituent four parties together, and let's see if they'll extract a resolution to bring to this House. Because NASA has ODM, Wiper, ANC, and Ford Kenya. And the leaders of these parties, Raila Amolo Odinga, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi, and Moses Masika Wetangula, are an integral part of all the organs of this party. And whenever we hold even PGs, the party leadership attends. I know that since we started this House, a conspiratorial process has been going on with nocturnal meetings taking place. The very least my colleagues can do, Mr. Speaker, is to have even called me to a meeting and told me, as our leader, the following are issues that we have against you and we want to change. Not to go and sit in the comfort of a five-star hotel without members from ANC, Ford Kenya, Wiper, CCM, and then purport to bring minutes to this House, Mr. Speaker. I want, in fact, to urge, Mr. Speaker, the Chair, that even that majority of 16 is not a majority in law, because it's not a majority of the coalition. It is a majority of a section in the coalition that has sat without a proper color of right in law. Because ODM is not a member of this House. Members of ODM access this House and have a color of legitimacy by virtue of being members of NASA. So I want to end here, Mr. Speaker, by telling my colleagues that I'm going nowhere, that I'm here, that I will be here, because I was not invited to join NASA. I am in NASA as a founder, and I founded code that transitioned to NASA, Mr. Speaker. And if anybody wants to play games, Mr. Speaker, anybody can play games. And many of us are good at this. And we have not come to this level of leadership because anybody has been pushing us. We have come to this level of leadership because of commitment, because of dedication. And Mr. Speaker, I represent people. Nobody can belittle me in this House. Nobody. And nobody has a right, Mr. Speaker, to play games behind my back. Nobody. Let them be frontal and we will fight mundu kumundu.
Order, Senator.
It's as simple as that, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator. Okay.
Mr. Speaker, I take great exception to the conduct of my deputy and whoever chaired this meeting. Because, Mr. Speaker, I've been receiving phone calls, SMSs, threats, and so on and so forth. Mr. Speaker, I delivered a resounding vote to the leader of ODM. And this cannot be wished away. These games, Mr. Speaker, are totally unhelpful, and I want to repeat as I end. If anybody wants a divorce, it will be noisy, it will be messy, it will be unhelpful, and it will have casualties, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, I mean, you can see, he says the divorce is going to be messy, noisy, and even with casualties. Now, ladies and gentlemen, This is something that happened way back. Now, just the other day, the same thing happened. Now, Honorable Moses Wetangula is now the speaker. Okay? Is now the speaker. And he now stands up and says there is a court order that bars him from the whipping Sabina Chege from being the minority lead, the minority chief whip. Okay? Do you see the contradiction? Do you see the double speak in this case? Yeah. So no wonder the other day, Honorable Edwin Sifuna, the senator, Nairobi County, was on a national television and was saying that the type of order that Honorable Moses Wetangula is talking about had not been served to their vice minority chief whip, Honorable Robert Mbuya. Yeah, right. So now, what an Honorable Sifuna says, because they haven't even seen the order itself, he says the order is even suspicious. I mean, they could be, this order they are talking about could be a forgery for some reason. We don't have the facts, but the fact that they haven't been served with that order, Edwin Sifuna says they don't even trust in that entire order's narrative. Okay? And so, ladies and gentlemen, what is happening is, first and foremost, at Capital Trends, we see a leadership in the parliament where we are not even able now to trust. If we can't trust that the Speaker of the National Assembly is reading out something that we can prove or guarantee its authenticity, yeah, then there is a lot of things that we need to discuss. And these entire issues are coming around from the government side or the UDS side, yeah, the Kenya Kwanza Brigade side. Okay, now look at this. These guys, even amongst just the court orders, the other day we saw the Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, outrightly saying on a national television that those governors from whichever counties that are going to resist the finance bill, they should not ask for money. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this.
Our counties tuko na deni yao ya 94 billion. Mwezi wa 4 hatujapatia hawa, mwezi ya 5 na mwezi ya 6. Na sio kukataa, tumekataa, hatuna. Nilikuwa mkutano na wanaambia hata mkinitoa suruali mnichape, sina. Na hiyo ndio ukweli. Ngoja, si mimi nagoja hapo. Ngoja mimi nagoja, naambia hatuna. Sasa nikaambia sisi natafuta pesa. Hatuwezi kopa pesa ngambo tupatie counties. Hatuwezi. Nyinyi pia mfanye bidii muokote revenue. Alafu mtukubalie nafasi tuokote kodi tupatie nyinyi pesa yenu. Nikauliza hao magavana, nyinyi wale walikuwa hapo ya Azimio, mnafuata huyu Raila kupinga sisi tukiokota pesa na mnatudai. Sasa kama tukikosa kuokota na mnatudai tutapatia nyinyi nini? Huyu Raila na Kalonzo na Martha Karua hawana serikali, hakuna mtu anauliza hao mshahara, hakuna mtu anauliza hao wanunulie gari matairi, hakuna mtu anaambia hao wanunue madawa. Sasa mnawafuata tu, ni watu wako huko kichakani, so they have no need for money. Lakini nyinyi magavana mko na maserikali kama sisi na nyinyi tuko in the same basket. Na ndio wakatulia wakanielewa. Nikaambia governor, tukisikia nyinyi mnapinga hii finance bill, tukigawa pesa tutapatia wale wana support.
Look at that. Just look at that. I mean, this government from Capital Trends, what we see, honestly speaking, it is doing things from a perspective that, I mean, these guys, you try however much you want to stop us, but if you try, you also know that there are consequences. But truthfully speaking as well, you see, for devolution to work, there are never to be any strings attached that if I don't do this, then we don't receive the money. The money is meant to be disbursed to counties with an equal share. And so this issue of if you don't vote for the bill, then you don't get for money is some type of blackmail, discrimination that is never meant to happen. And I'm very sure if Rigathi Gachagua was on the other side, he would say the same thing. And that isn't fair. What happens to those citizens from those counties? They're paying taxes, but now the fact that they are, the MPs or the governors from those sides are not supporting this bill, and so they don't receive the value for their money. Ladies and gentlemen, at Capital Trends, we are seeing a trend that at some point, this country, Kenya, is going to be plunged in a very dangerous ditch, that getting ourselves out will be another total story that is going to cost us perhaps lives, or it may be messy and with casualties. Okay, so we can see Honorable Moses Wetangula is now facing his own share of messiness and casualties, so to say, or so to speak. But we would like you to come to our chat section. Please tell us what you think about this, and please remember to subscribe to our channel, and remember to hit the notification bell as well, so that every time we post our videos, you're among the first people to watch them. Otherwise, until the next video, bye bye.